From one neighbor to another, WCTE PBS is here for you. Coming up next is Live at 5 on WCTE and our streaming platforms to give you updates on communities throughout the Upper Cumberland.
Good evening and welcome to WCTE's Live at 5. We're here at the Emergency Operations Center of Putnam County. I'm very happy to have with me Senator Paul Bailey. Thank you so much, Senator, for coming in and being with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we're excited about this opportunity, and we do want to remind you that this is live on WCTE. It's also live on Facebook and our website. And so, Senator Bailey, if folks have questions, they can send those via Facebook and let us know, and we'll be happy to get to those at the end of the show. We've got just a few minutes. We are going to show a recap of this week's mayor's briefings from here at the EOC. But I want to ask you right off the bat, we know that the CARES Act has been passed by Congress. There's federal dollars that are flowing into Tennessee. We want to specifically talk about our small businesses tonight. Can you share, is there anything happening specifically to Tennessee that you'd want folks to know about right off the bat?
Well, one thing I'd like for Tennesseans to know, especially those 250,000 that have applied for unemployment, that the state is working diligently to get those claims processed.
Wow.
We have also, the state has entered into an agreement with the federal government to be able to receive the additional $600 that the federal government will be sending down to those that have filed for unemployment claims. So whether you receive the minimum amount of unemployment or the maximum amount of state unemployment of $275, you'll receive the additional $600 from the federal government.
And is the $600 a one-time check? Will it come to them as a one-time thing?
No, the $600 will continue until July 31st or until their employer calls them back to work.
Okay, that is great. That's good news. Hey, we're going to roll a piece of tape here for you to see. The senator's going to be with us, so don't go away. This is this week's press briefings from Mayor Randy Porter and Mayor Ricky Shelton of Cookeville.
Governor Lee also announced the state of Tennessee will allocate $10 million in small and rural hospital readiness grants to support hospitals that are facing financial strain due to the ongoing response to COVID-19. The funds will be capped at $500,000 per hospital. Cookeville Regional Medical Center will be applying for the grant. The grants will serve as a bridge over the coming weeks while elective procedures are suspended. Just a few things to note in regards to those businesses filing tax returns. Tax filing due dates have been extended. The Tennessee Department of Revenue has extended the due date for filing and paying franchise and excise tax from April 15th, 2020 to July 15th, 2020. The filing deadline for business tax returns, originally due April 15th, 2020, has been extended to June 15th, 2020. The department has extended the due date for filing and paying the hall income tax from April 15th to July 15th, 2020. Now, those Tennesseans that are self-employed can apply for unemployment. When you file, you will see a message stating that you are monetarily ineligible. This does not mean your claim has been denied or you did anything wrong. As soon as the federal government allows, Tennessee will disperse your benefits, and you can apply online at jobs4tn.gov. Again, that's jobs4tn.gov.
Please be a team player. The sooner we all cooperate, the sooner this crisis will be over. As far as law enforcement, there are no curfews, and officers will continue to be vigilant and issue warnings as needed to those who flagrantly ignore the guidelines that have been posted. We urge everyone to be a team player. We are all in this together. Of course, we cannot forget about all of our small businesses across the community. You are the backbone of who we are and what we define ourselves as a community. They're important to our local economy. As an economics teacher for over 40 years, I understand the impact that all this has had on our county. Displaced workers are feeling the pinch, and local agencies are acting quickly to fill some of those voids. I'm working every day with Washington and Nashville to put plans in place that will fast track some of the recovery money to both workers and our businesses. Aid is coming, but it may be still several weeks before the assistance actually arrives.
Take their advice, listen to what they say. They are our local experts in these areas. Their advice is extremely important. Governor Lee has now issued, as you know, the mandatory stay-at-home. Take it seriously. Help to save lives and get through this pandemic. Of course, there are things that you can leave your home for, essential activities, and those are defined in the governor's executive orders. But do so with extreme caution. Limit your trips to the grocery store. Limit your trips out of your home when you do leave. Try to get everything that you need in one trip.
Today, as of 2 p.m., our total number of confirmed positives in Putnam County is 81, which is 24 more than yesterday. These are some more of the signature healthcare positives from last week that we have been waiting on to show up. So please don't panic with this large number, as we have been expecting it and warning you about it for the past several days. Most of those from signature have been entered now, but we think there still could be a few more of those still lagging. Also remember, the results are based on the county of residence. The other counties in the Upper Cumberland that have confirmed positives are Cannon with 7, Clay with 2, Cumberland with 33, DeKalb with 7, Fentress County has 2, Jackson County has 4, Macon County has 16, Overton has 5, Smith has 3, Warren County has 2, and White County has 2. Again, Putnam County has 81 confirmed cases, which is 24 more than yesterday, but those are part of the signature healthcare cases that we have been waiting on to show up in our number.
The needs assessment that the Tornado Relief Fund Committee has been working on actually went out last night to all those folks. If you're a tornado survivor and you did not receive that, you need to make sure you do call 646-4636 and get registered. It's going out to the registered folks that have been calling that line, and you should have gotten a text about that if you didn't, so make sure you call that number. But that assessment will go out. They're allotting about 2 weeks to receive those back, and then hopefully we'll be able to disperse the money the end of the month. The end of April is the plan to make those disbursements, and so I know that will be a blessing to many to receive that. And so we're thankful for folks who've donated to that fund, and you can still donate to that fund. After the first disbursement, there will be a cutoff. That money will be dispersed, but then we'll continue to receive money, and if money comes in, we'll make a second disbursement later at a little bit later time. And so please, if you're out there and you haven't donated to help, 100% of the funds will be going to the tornado survivors.
All good while the lobby is closed. We're still open for business. We have drive-through. We have the night depository if you want to come after hours. The police are still on duty. The fire department's still there. Everything is going on as it should. Garbage pickup is on the same schedule. Now, we will be closed on Friday. It is Good Friday, but you can still avail yourself of the drop-off if you need to pay a utility bill or something like that. Again, you can also, we do updates on Facebook, and we put as much information as we can on our website, which is allgood.tn, or allgood-tn.com. What we have been faced with, of course, is while the lobby is closed, we are preparing next week for our work session and for our city council session. Of course, those are supposed to be open meetings, and according to the executive directive that we have received.
As the director for the Small Business Development Center, our number one priority right now is to let businesses know that help is available, it is there. Now more than ever, it's extremely important to be working with a local bank. The payroll protection program is coming through the local banks, and that is the one that we've gotten the most phone calls about. It's the one that is eligible for forgiveness. So now more than ever, I would encourage any local business to be working with a local bank. If you need help with this and any type of the forms that the bank may need or may want, please reach out to us. We are housed at the Upper Cumberland Development District. I have a direct line you can call. It's 931-261-0421, and that will go directly to my team that we have. And we will help you get this process. We'll help you walk through the steps to get this available. Next is what's called the EIDL loan, or the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, and is available directly through the SBA. We will be more than happy to do a Zoom conference with you, walk you through all of the steps that are out there so that any business that has been affected by this can take advantage of that loan. Also, speaking of the tornado, if there's any business that was damaged physically or economic damage to the business, meaning you lost revenue from the tornado, there is also a SBA loan, also called the EIDL loan. It's got 2 different funds. Reach out to us. We will be more than happy to walk you through that process as well. So like I said, our number one goal here is to help make sure that you know that there are funds available, first of all. Please be patient. There are thousands of applications that are getting processed right now. I spoke to a couple banks today. They're bringing on additional staff. There's training involved for them to process those applications. On a good news, I did find out on my way over here, some banks have already restarted releasing money to business owners for the payroll program. So that is good news that there is money out there. They've got it. They're going to get their employees paid.
Thank you so much for being with us on WCT's Live at 5, right here from Putnam County Emergency Operations Center. I'm so happy that Senator Paul Bailey is with us. Senator Bailey, it's been quite 6 weeks here in the Upper Cumberland, hasn't it?
It has. I feel like that we've had a trifecta from the tornadoes that took place on March the 3rd, then with the COVID-19, and then most recently the tornado that came through Warren, White, and Cumberland County.
Right. Just really a lot of damage. Fortunately, no human damage there in that last tornado. But a lot of other damage, right?
A lot of other damage. We had a lot of structure damage, a lot of forestry damage. And so, but the good news is we didn't have any kind of personal injury or loss of life. So that was the good news.
And so I know that, and we're going to speak with, fortunately, in a little bit with Tyler Smith, who is the Director of Emergency Management here for Putnam County, about the tornado cleanup and continuation. Any news on COVID right now from the state that you want to pass along?
Well, I think that we're going to start seeing a flattening of the cases within the next few days. Certainly, the models that we're seeing is that Tennessee may be a few days ahead of when our original peak was going to be. So I think that's the good news that's coming from all the modeling that we've seen.
That's great. So, do your part and stay apart. Senator Bailey, we're here really to talk about what people can do who are in small business in our area. You being a businessman yourself, you understand that and the challenges. Can you share with us some of the really important things? I know you've got some information that you can help really put some clarity to this for us.
Sure. So one of the things that the federal government has accomplished in the last few days is for small businesses. And the first is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, or the EIDL, and also the Paycheck Protection Program. Now, the EIDL is a loan from the Small Business Administration to businesses and nonprofits that have suffered a direct financial loss due to COVID-19. It's for businesses that have fewer than 500 employees, and an employer can borrow up to $2 million through the EIDL, but they must provide some form of collateral for that loan up to $2 million. And the term can be up to 30 years at an interest rate of 3.75%. And they can use the loan for fixed expenses such as payroll, accounts payable, and other fixed expenses. But now the payroll protection program is a forgivable loan for businesses and nonprofits that have 500 employees or less. And so they can apply for loans up to $10 million, and it's purely based on 2019 payroll. So if you would take your 12 months of payroll if you're a small business, divide that by 12, and then you multiply that times 2.5%, and that's basically what you're eligible for for the Paycheck Protection Program.
And when you say forgivable, what does that mean?
That basically means that if you use the proceeds that you would receive from the federal government over the next 8 weeks, once your loan is originated from your local bank, then you pay your payroll for the next 8 weeks. The amount of money that you use paying payroll, rent, and utilities will be forgiven for that amount of your
Wow,
loan.
that's great. That is a tremendous asset. And so folks can take advantage of that with a local lender, right?
Yes, most lenders have gotten approval from the Small Business Administration to be able to administer these type loans. Obviously, you can go on the SBA website, the United States Treasury website, to obtain. It's a 2-page application and submit that to your local lender. And obviously, you'll have to provide payroll information,
The documentation,
for the documentation to substantiate that.
All right. Anything else that you would like to share with us from them? That maybe anything else? Again, you want to repeat anything about our local unemployment, how that's going?
Well, I think again, the Department of Labor has been moving more people from various divisions to process unemployment claims because we've had a lot of companies furlough workers,
Right.
and so we have the department has ramped up as much as possible. You have to realize, though, that we went from an average claim of 2,700 per week to all of a sudden to 45 to 50,000 claims in the first week, and then now we're up to 250,000 claims. It kind of overwhelmed the system, so we're trying to work through that.
All right. We're going to give you more information about that when we come back in just a few moments. You know, in Monterey, just last Friday, I believe, there was an earthen levee that broke and caused a private lake to drain into the Calf-Killer River as well as the Caney Fork. And we're going to see some footage of that and then have Tyler Smith explain a little bit about how that happened.
The power of that water. People do not realize how powerful water is. The road had already collapsed, and it was roughly somewhere between 4 and 6 feet wide when it first started. Within what appeared to be minutes, it was breaking down. The water was, with a fury, with an absolute fury, the water was just pouring through. And what was so interesting was the way the water was curving. It was the momentum of the water was, it was ferocious. It really was ferocious.
It's the north tributary of the Calf-Killer River, and which flows down through the eastern tip of Putnam County down into White County, down on into Sparta.
Well, the water is roughly 45 feet deep, was the lake. And if you look at it now, there's maybe 5 feet of water.
I live just about a quarter mile down the road there, down from it, and it got to within one of my neighbor's house about 20 feet, but my house and most other houses are up on the hill there, so no real damage. They kept it under control when when it was draining down there, and like I said, they've got to put a fire hose on it, kept the debris from clogging up the whirlpool, and kept it flowing.
This is all private here. And yet the county got involved, Monterey got involved. That's why I said it's really been great.
Took it about 2 hours, I think, somewhere around 2 hours to finally, to where it was not rising, the water wasn't rising anymore. So, totally amazing, just after everything that's gone on, just, the ducks are still enjoying it though, the geese. So, as long as they're getting somebody's getting something out of it, could have been worse. Nobody was hurt, no, at least as far as they know, nobody wasn't any injuries, no serious property damage. So.
All right. Thanks so much for staying with us here at Live at 5 at WCTE. Tyler Smith is the Director of Emergency Management here for Putnam County. And tell me what happened there with the the levee or the earthen dam. What happened there?
Well, beavers clogged the spillway, which made the water level rise and, of course, caused the breach in the levee. We didn't know at first how many homes could be affected. We had about 10 homes, but luckily it drained into a area that was going under I-40, which went in on under Highway 70, and that was another concern. Was Highway 70 was taking on quite a bit of water into that culvert, but it held and it drained on into Calf Killer, and no homes were affected. So we were very lucky.
That is lucky, because it was a 45-foot water lake, right?
Yes.
And did it almost all drain?
It almost all drained out. There's still some water there. The damage still there to the levee. It's on private property, so I don't know if the owners are going to rebuild that. But that's washed out. The road going to some homes back on the back side of it was affected, but they have a way out behind their house to get out. So.
Okay. Any cleanup that people need to know about in that area?
Well, the highway department has fixed Industrial Drive. There were some areas there that cracked alongside the lake, and Randy Jones, his crew, got in there and fixed that Tuesday, so everything's back to normal there.
Awesome. You know, we didn't get a mayor's update today. Today is Good Friday, as well as Passover for many of our viewers, and they're going to be back Monday. But can you give us an update on the COVID numbers for Putnam County?
I think it's at 84 right now.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And that does include the Signature Health facility?
Yeah.
Awesome. And then what about the tornado cleanup here?
It's still going on this weekend. They are taking a break, so they'll be back Monday. Okay. They're hoping to wrap that up at the end of the week, but anything that don't get picked up at the end of the week, they will come back later on and do a final cleanup.
All right, great. And volunteers can still help out?
Still doing that. We're asking for volunteers to get that debris up to the road. We can't go on private property, but get that to the edge of the roadway so they can get that cleaned up.
Now, Tyler, I believe I got a message on my email today that we have some severe weather possibly coming up this Sunday night, Easter. Can you share about that and what people need to be looking for?
Yes, this is rapidly developed in the last day. They're saying where southern parts of Middle Tennessee's in enhanced risk. We're still in the slight risk, but believe me, that will change before Sunday.
Yeah.
The time frame is 1 p.m. to midnight on Sunday, so we need to make sure everybody's weather aware, have those weather radios turned on and ready.
Right.
But just keep those weather forecasts, up to date, and because they change rapidly. So just stay tuned to your updated weather.
And do you suggest that if people get a tornado watch, that they go ahead and prepare to be in a safe place?
Yes, that's when you need to start preparing. If you live in a mobile home, go to a family's residence that's in a safer home. That's when you need to be preparing. Don't wait till that warning is issued to be taking action. You need to do that before then.
All right. Very good. And then as this proceeds, obviously the weather updates will continue to be socialized out via radio and on Facebook and other information.
Tomorrow especially, they'll start updating. They update about every 6 hours. But, tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night, you need to start looking at what the forecast changes are.
All right. So, anything else you want to share with the folks?
Just be prepared and have two alternate ways of receiving weather information, those alerts.
Right.
Yes.
I think that is important. So please know that this coming Sunday there is a severe weather alert that's been issued, and we want you to stay prepared for that and just be aware. And thank you so much, Tyler. Have a great weekend. I hope you don't have to work too much on Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we're going to bring Senator Bailey back now at this time. Thank you for staying with us. We've got a little bit of time left, Senator, before we head out for the weekend. And I know this is an important weekend for folks because this is a time that we normally spend with family and friends. And, it's a special weekend. So how do you encourage people to honor the social distancing but at the same time recognize that this is a good time for us all?
Well, I think Tennesseans have grown accustomed to social distancing. It's obvious as I come into the studio today, many friends in this room, but yet we're honoring that social distancing. And so although this is a weekend that we all celebrate with family and friends, but it's also a time that we need to still be
sort of cognizant of that, right?
Exactly. That we continue to keep our social distance so that we can curb the COVID-19 as soon as possible.
Right. I think it is important. And, I've had a lot of friends of mine who own small businesses, and they have, as you mentioned, they have been struggling over these past several weeks. Is there anything else in particular about this Paycheck Protection Program that you think would be of benefit for our viewers to know?
Yeah, well, not only about the Paycheck Protection Program, but I would like to back up in regards to unemployment. This is the first time that we've actually allowed the self-employed to be able to apply for unemployment benefits as well. They would go to jobsfortn.gov to apply for those benefits. Now, they may get a notice that they're ineligible to receive those benefits, but rest assured your claim has been filed and that you should continue to just wait for the department to contact you. And then also self-employed individuals, sole proprietorships are also eligible for the Paycheck Protection Program. And so just because you're a small business and maybe not a LLC, a corporation, but you're a self-employed individual or a sole proprietorship that is employing 3, 4, 5 plus people, you're still eligible to be able to apply for the Paycheck Protection Program.
Wow, that's terrific. And that's great news. I'm glad you shared that. We did have a question from our Facebook page. What is the best way to support our local businesses during this time of uncertainty?
Well, I think one of the first and foremost, if those businesses are like restaurants and they're still operating, you go in or you place your order, pick up your curbside order, and especially if there's any other businesses that are continuing to operate, we support them in every way possible.
That's awesome. I also want to mention to folks, we've had a number of calls to WCTE about our Great TV auction. Many of you, and Senator, you've certainly supported us, and so many have done that. We're going to work in a very thoughtful way about that this year, and we'll be sharing more with you later about that. But we may venture to a more online model so that just in case we are still dealing with this down the road, we don't want to, have a lot of people too close together. So I think we're going to find this really cool hybrid on-air online model, and we'll be sharing more with you about that. But I think people have to get innovative, don't they?
Oh, I think so. I think that over the last several weeks, we've changed the way that we'll do business, and that we socialize with one another. And so I think that we have adapted to these social distancing rules that have been put in place. And so I think that we've adhered to those. And so it'll take several weeks and months and maybe years for us to even get back to a normal the way that we always were. We're very social people.
That's right.
And so we want to hug people, especially being in the South, want to hug people and want to shake their hands. And so the social distancing has definitely affected the way that I greet people.
Right. I know, me too. I'm definitely a hugger. So I'll be glad when we can get back to that. We're going to wrap up here. I do want to thank you so much, Senator, for being with us. And thanks to each of you for tuning in. Thanks to our team at WCTE and Lightwire, Master Control, and thanks to each of you. Have a safe and blessed weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for joining us at Live at 5. Be sure to tune in next time for additional updates on communities throughout the Upper Cumberland. From one neighbor to another, WCTE PBS is